We are live with the final episode of Out of Orting. I am your host and executive producer, Hunter Snyder, and with me is a very special guest, the person who was cast a few weeks before Survivor Washington started, the person who did not respond to my emails or texts asking them if they were coming for their Meet the Cast interview. The person I was convinced was going to the game because and the person that caused me a great amount of stress, including forcing me to text Casey Hobson from season 1 and say, I need a girl right now to be put on this cast and I will put you on the cast.
Oh my God.
That resulted in embarrassment from Casey Hobson. A few days later, this person showed up at my house and talked about how they were going to be the first one voted off and was really down on themselves and left my house. And I'm like, this person is not going to show up for Survivor Washington, or they are going to be the first person voted off. But most of all, this is the sole survivor of Survivor Washington Orting, Kaya Holm.
Hi.
Kaya, how are you?
Great. I'm great, Hunter. Thanks for having me. Yes.
Thank you for showing up.
I did it. I did it. This is the second time I've shown up for you.
You turn around. Kaya, how's millionaire life been?
It's been great. Just like the taxes were pretty brutal though, so that was like whatever. Other than that, it's been great.
I'm sure you and Brooke Carlaw have texted extensively. You guys are best buds now. You know, your exclusive winner circle. I want to ask: have any other LRG hosts asked you to play their game or contacted you at all? I guess it's not really casting season.
Yeah, no, definitely not. And I think, well, no, it'd be pretty easy to find. No, I think it might be hard to find me on the internet.
Are you not in the live reality games group?
I am not.
Okay, yeah. I just know because I think it was, and a lot of hosts have invited. I think you made comments like, "Oh, I want to see Kaya play on this season."
Oh.
I know Brooke got a ton of, and I'm like, I'm not setting expectations or saying like if you don't get a message, you're not the true soul survivor. Although she's statistically the greatest Survivor Washington player.
That's true. Perfect game.
Yeah. Anyways, I know that there were a lot of people that were saying so. If you have any opportunities, let them know that you are exclusive to Survivor Washington and we have all rights to you.
Okay, well, I'll let them know. I have a non-compete clause in the Grandpa Nettles waiver.
You would, the Grandpa Nettles. Do you think that if you were to do another LRG that you would go far?
No. Just because I won this doesn't mean I suddenly am like, oh, no, Kaya of June and July 2017, you were completely off base by saying you were going to be the first one out. No, I am 100% sure. Playing a different one, I would still be the first one out.
Interesting. We might have to test that theory. I think I think everybody in the Orting cast should apply to an LRG that's like, Orting was kind of successful in the LRG. I wouldn't say we're successful. I'm sure there's some host out there that doesn't watch LRGs that we could all apply to.
Oh, that'd be good.
And then we could just all get on.
That'd be fun. I would do that.
We'll look for an 18-person season, and I'll get Scout and me.
Yes.
And then we fill it out. Okay, so Kaya, we touched on this briefly, but Survivor Washington, like Sarah and like Molly and Wes to an extent, was not on your radar before you were cast.
No, not at all. I'm part of the Seattle Survivor Association, and something. And I had gone like twice before ever. I had just gone like 2 separate times, kind of on a whim because trying to make friends. didn't
Claire, to specify it's a Survivor watch party group for Seattle.
Yeah. Sorry, that's what that is. And you posted in there like the last week of June, maybe the first weekend in July, being like, we're looking for women and men over 34 or whatever. And I was like, I mean, this would be kind of fun. And so I kind of like filled it out and sent it in just because I thought, like, if I don't get if he doesn't write back, like, it's fine. I could take it or leave it at this point.
Right.
But when you wrote to me the next day, I was like, oh my gosh, what have I gotten myself into?
You're like, doesn't really, I was going to say like yep, that's me, but that would fit more towards the ending or while you're eating pig heart and you're like, yep, it's like freeze frame record scratch.
Yeah, exactly. That's 100%.
And then, but no, you got yourself into a situation.
Yes.
What's going through your mind? What are you doing the next few days? I mean, you're called to some random guy's house to do your meet the cast interview.
Yep. So you wrote to me, and then immediately I kind of forwarded the email to my mom, being like, excited for my next like adventure, and like in parentheses, like albeit low budget or whatever, because I didn't want her to think it was like Real Survivor when I forwarded it to her. Right. And then I didn't respond. I forwarded that to her immediately, and then didn't respond to you for like a week or something until you're like, hey, are you still interested? Like, we haven't gotten a confirmation. I was like, yes, still interested. I'll send my bio tonight.
Like later too.
Yeah. I was like, I'll send my bio tonight. Never sent my bio.
Oh, yeah. You didn't send it until after the season, right?
Yeah, it's the same bio, though, so.
Fair enough. You were just going to ghost us if you were out first. And
yep. Just like, oh, I don't think I submitted a bio. Like, I don't think I was on a season hunter. I'm not sure what you're talking about. And so I had
keep going. I'm currently searching. Here we go. Hi, Kaya. We have not yet received a denial or an acceptance on your Survivor Washington application. Could you please get one back to us as soon as possible? Thanks, the Survivor Washington team. June 28th. And then the next day, you actually responded, greetings. Yes, I would love to accept a spot on the cast. I'm still working on the bio, but I'll send it to you tonight. I remember for some reason, maybe I'm wrong. I might be wrong about you not.
No.
You delayed your Meet the Cast interview. It was not tonight. It was August 9th, which was a couple weeks after Survivor Washington. But nonetheless, you were on the show and you came to do Meet the Cast interview.
Yes, I did. I had a friend drive me down because I, like Sarah, was certain you were going to kill me.
And your friend was never there, right?
No, no, just...
They didn't get out of the car.
No.
I didn't meet this friend. This
is
news to me.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to get murdered. And so I went down and we did our thing and you were like, oh boy, like this, like, nope. And I was being very genuine. I was like, this is what's going to happen. I'm telling you now.
And one thing I did like is when you just described yourself as a villain and talked about lying and backstabbing.
I did not describe myself as a villain. I said I would hope that I wouldn't be a villain.
But you could see yourself.
Yeah, I could be a villain. Yeah.
Would you describe yourself as a villain? What did I pick? I put you as anti-hero, right?
Anti-hero, yeah. Yeah.
There aren't many villains in this cast. I think Sumner was more fleshed out in terms of heroes and villains. There's a lot of anti-heroes. There's some moral dilemmas on the cast.
Yeah, I'm the unrootable fave, which is fine.
Yeah.
People were resigned to be happy that I won, and then I guess.
Yes, true. People were ecstatic, but so at post Meet the Cast interview, had your opinion changed on anything?
Yeah. So after meeting you, I was like, oh, he's just a normal dude. Like this will be fine. Like this is. But then it felt very real all of a sudden. I was like,
did you stalk my Facebook beforehand?
No, what I did,
okay, that explains it. I would hope that my Facebook's normal looking enough.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't do that. I watched like a couple episodes of Sumner before I went down for my thing. And I was like, oh, he seems normal here. Because I Googled you and found out that you were Igor. And I was like, oh.
You know Igor?
Yeah.
Really?
From Twitter. Like, it was like I hate it so much. I'm so sorry.
You were wet.
Yeah. It would like come up in my Twitter and I'd be like why? Like who is like retweeting this or like why is it in my feed? And so then I found out that was you. I was like, I'm not going. I'm not going to go. And then I watched some episodes of Sumner. I was like, oh, he's a normal guy. It's fine.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
The professionality of the emails apparently do not work. They're too axe murdery.
Yeah.
So I'm not Igor. I'm not a Russian man. I'm not a guy that's just pretending to be a Russian. I think no, Igor was long dead at this point. Yeah. So you get there, you leave, and impressions are changed. But are you looking forward to it at all? Are you excited? Or are you more nervous? What's going on?
I was pretty nervous. I was excited because I thought it would be like a fun thing that I had never imagined I would ever do. Like I couldn't have even I knew that about Survivor Brooklyn. Is that right? I knew about that, and so I had seen like a clip of that. It was like really low production value or whatever, and I was like, oh. But the emails that you sent, I was like, I don't think that's what this is going to be. I didn't think it was going to be like the handheld, like shaky cam the whole time, like a lot of other ones are.
Handheld, sniffly, allergy cam.
Yeah, and so I didn't do any like prep at all because I was positive. Like everybody says that they think they're going to be the first one out. I didn't bring clothes for the jury. I didn't bring. I had plans on Sunday. Like I was positive that I was going out first.
Oh my Lord!
I'm not kidding.
Thankfully, the jury situation did not work out. But you were that confident. So
yeah.
When you actually get there and you see your competition, does it change at all? Your opinion?
No.
Is it worse?
So when I first got there and saw everybody standing around, there were a lot of people there already, and I was like, oh boy, like, did I screw this up by being like the last one here already? Like this is not great. And then Sarah rolled. Well, then Corey and Brett came, and then Sarah came, and so I was like, okay, well maybe people will forget that I was almost the last one here. And then we get separated into tribes, and I was like, well, one of my first impressions was I saw Lindsay and Emma when we went to as you talked about in Sarah's thing, it was Sarah, me, Lindsay, Emma, and Sheree all went to the bathroom. Lindsay and Emma were very chummy. They weren't talking like about anything in particular, but they were. I don't remember. It was just nonsense, but they seemed very chummy, and I was like, oh boy, like I'm not prepared for this. Like they're very young and like excited women, and I don't come across like that because I'm not really. And so when they got split up, I was very excited about that when they were each on different tribes because I thought that was good. And it turned out to be really good that they were on different tribes, I think, because I would have loved to see what would have happened if Lindsay and Emma were on the same tribe.
And that would have been interesting. So when you actually get into it, was there anybody in your tribe that you wanted to be on tribe with, or anybody that you saw in Carbonado that you wanted to be on tribe with?
I was intrigued by Sarah. She seemed like somebody I could relate to, and she seemed like somebody that I might be able to work with. I think everybody has a first impression of Satu just because he was like grinning from ear to ear the whole time and like moving like constantly.
Nells.
Yeah, I wasn't there for that part, but like the just like a.
He's very joyous.
Yes, that definitely came.
You're around him and you're like, he's one of those people that's like, he brings the energy with him.
Yeah, certainly. I didn't really have first impressions of a lot of other people. I saw Kitty and she seemed very like intense already, and then when we got to camp, it was even more so. And I don't think she and I got along right away because we are very different personalities, which we have since gotten along great and we're very good friends. But at the time, I was like, oh, I don't know if I can deal with like the alpha here.
The alpha woman.
Yeah.
So how did you and Lindsay come about then?
We were as soon as we got to camp, we weren't even like in the camp yet. You were telling us where the idol could be.
Yeah.
She and I were walking next to each other, and she's like, "We're good." And I was like, "Okay." Like, sounds good to me. Like,
So was that unnatural, or were you just so focused on the fact that somebody is like, there's an in?
yeah, it didn't seem unnatural. I was just like, I like her too, so maybe this will work out. And I had no way of knowing that what kind of player she was going to be at that time, because like right off the bat, she and I were like kind of the least helpful with like putting the tent together. I was like, already like the lazy ones, like not.
Yeah.
I was like, we need to do something. Like so that's when I just started like standing by the tent, pretending to like hook things. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to put a tent together. This is all new to me.
And so was there a point then before the first immunity challenge that you started thinking maybe I'm not going to be the first one voted out?
Um, no. I got along well with Lindsay right away, Nico right away, Stefan, I think, and then Stefan and Kitty were together already at that point. So then I was kind of like, I counted on that as like being 4 and me being 5, which I shouldn't have done because Kitty and I hadn't really spoken at that point. So that was just kind of an assumption I made. And that's probably where after Nico at the charade vote, she's like, why am I like counting on Kaya to do anything for me when we haven't really spoken? Even though I was kind of like lumping her in with my 5 because of Stefan.
So at what point in the game did your idea of being out early change? Where did the tide turn?
After Sheree went out instead of me at that one. That's when I was like, so we all got together and we're gonna vote and voted out Nico. And so that wasn't. I was positive I wasn't going out there, just because it was like everybody was sitting there agreeing on Nico. And so that first vote that we went to, I was confident I wasn't going home. And then the next like hour, things started changing again. And I was like, so it's not 1, it's 3. I see.
Wait, what?
Like I wasn't going to be out first, I was going to be out third.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
And if I had gone out there, you would have had to pry that idol out of my hands because I was gonna leave with the souvenir. I don't know if what you could have said that would have made me give it back to you.
When you had the idol, you were convinced that you were out.
Well, I didn't think I was going home then because I was going to play the idol at that tribal after Lindsay was like, oh, hey, guess what? Like,
yeah,
they're throwing your name around. I was like, oh boy, like, let's see what this is going to be like. And she's like, don't do anything. Just stand there. Like, don't freak out. And I was like, okay. And then she's talking to Stefan and she's talking to Kitty. And then when we get to tribal, I like turned to Stefan and I was like, why are you voting for me? And he was like, I'm not, I promise. I was like, I swear to God, because I really wanted to know if I needed to play my idol or not. And I knew that I could read Stefan pretty well at that point, better than other people that I could have asked. Like Kitty, and I knew because she was the one leading the charge for that, is that I couldn't ask her. And so I turned to Stefan, who was sitting right to my left, and was like, why is this happening? And he was like, it's not. Don't worry. And I was like, okay. And I didn't play it, and it worked out.
So those first 3 tribal councils, or that being out there up until that point, and then going into the 4th immunity challenge, the last immunity challenge of night 1, did you see yourself, or did you plan on playing with as much passion as you did in that moment when you and Sarah fought over the paver? Thank you, Kitty, for the use of vocabulary.
Yes. So at that time, we were doing, so the first round we did, I lost because Corey like told us it was like left, right, or whichever, like 4 R's. But
what?
I messed, like so the 3 sets, like which one was on our green, or our blue one was on like the left, and then the next one was on the right.
Left, RR woodchuck?
No, left, right.
As in where the...
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What did you say about a woodchuck?
I didn't.
Okay. I would have just assumed that had you not referenced Corey, that I had heard that wrong, but it very well could have been something that Corey would have said that I just didn't understand.
And so I messed that one up, and then when we had to go again, I was like, oh my gosh, like I've already proven with the Erica like sumo thing that I'm completely physically inept, and I'm just like, she just came at me and I just kind of stepped out. And so this time I was like, okay, well, I have to prove, especially to somebody like Kitty, that I am here not just to like flake out and just kind of fall and just like give up. And so that's when I decided to like actually try, and then it was too late, and I was like, I'm just gonna stay here all night anyway, I don't care.
Satu says that Left RR Woodchuck was the name of a play he made on Madden.
Okay.
So, but the emotion, the level of emotion that came through with that, because I mean, it takes a lot. With most, I shouldn't judge other LRGs, but in a lot of these games, you don't see people putting in the effort that you put in. So what I want to know is just how did that change? How did your willingness to dig that deep change in that first day?
I feel like as soon as we went to, after we got back from the Nico thing, there's a part in the episode where I was like, it feels like we've been here for way more than 2 tribal councils. And that really felt like that was like my life already. Like it just happened very quickly for me, where I wasn't really thinking about like, oh, this is a game and the stakes are so low. I was just like, felt very into it immediately and was having a really good time, like right away.
You were just completely taken out of society.
Yeah.
That's one thing I wanted to ask Connor. Dang it, I missed it. And Connor, if you could answer in the chat, I'm so sorry for the loud noise I'm making right now. I had to remove this because it's really bothering me. I want to ask Connor, I want to ask you, Kai, as well, elaborate on how much the game, how exactly with the length of the game. I mean, it goes by fast, but you feel like you're there for a really long time because so much is happening. I just want to know to what extent you feel taken out of the game. And then Connor, if you want to answer in the chat about, since you had problems with work, how quickly, if at all, if it was still always in the back of your head, but how and to what extent you were pulled from the game.
Yeah.
You're pulled from life.
I think it really helped. I came in with everybody. I didn't know a single person there. And I hadn't even heard of a single person there. And so it really felt like a brand new like world to me, kind of. Like I got there, I have never done anything like this. And so like being involved in this kind of thing really was, I was completely taken out of my comfort zone. And immediately I just like kind of made this my life for 3 days. Oh, although after we lost that challenge, and we were sitting around before we were voting out Corey, that's when I was like, I'm just gonna go home. Like that really brought me right back. I was like, this kind of sucks. Not the game, but like this sucks, losing 3 in a row and having to vote people out on the first day when I knew that this was like a big fear of my own, was being voted out that first day. And I knew, like, especially people that came from so far away, like it really, I remember my confessional there was like, I am weighing this decision between the strategic decision of voting out Corey because I know that he promised final 2 with Kitty and nobody else has that deal with him, and voting the emotional decision, which is to keep Corey because he came from so far away, and vote out Satu. So that's what it came down to for me there.
You say emotional too because you understand like the fear of going out early and realizing that all of a sudden you're not in that position.
Yeah. And I realized like, oh, I'm not like even in a discussion here. I was the discussion last time, and now Kitty's like given up on that idea. And I think staying out with that paver with Sarah for so long kind of helped Kitty be like, oh, she is here to play. She said this in a confessional where she was like, I really misjudged Kaya. Mm-hmm. And so I was really glad that had a point.
I don't get it. So was there animosity? Did Kitty have like some weird hate for you or something?
No, I from the beginning was I think I don't know why. I don't think she disliked me. I think it was like Sheree better serves me than Kaya. But I from the beginning was like, I don't really get Kitty. Like our personalities are very different. Like I'm not very like not straight laced, but like she's very alpha and she's like a force and she's knows what she wants and she does the things to get it. And I'm more laid back about things and a little more lax. And kudos to her because she has gotten a lot done in her life. And
she's married. She's getting married.
Yep. And
Kitty, so sorry to the viewers that thought there's any chance between them and Kitty. There is none. I'm sorry. So the night comes and day one. Anything else from day one you want to talk about?
I don't think so.
Day two, the morning of you're
Yes.
waking up. What was that like? What was the shock of being woken up so early?
Yeah, so I sleep really well, pretty much no matter. I slept great both nights I was there. I slept like a freaking baby. And so when you came into camp, I was like, oh, it's morning now. Like we're gonna go do stuff now. And then the only time where I was like, uh-oh, is when you I thought we were gonna swap until you were like, I'm gonna take immunity back. And I was like, I swear to God, Hunter, like I will kill you if we do another challenge. Like I will walk off the farm. And then so I was very glad when you're like, psych, drop your bombs.
I'm glad I got one.
Yeah, it was just like it ran through my head. I was like, but why?
Good. What were you hoping for in the tribe swap?
The whole time since finding the idol, all I wanted was to get to the merge with my idol with nobody knowing about it. And so when we swapped, I was hoping that I would be in some kind of position where I would still be able to have the idol at the merge. And so when it was 4 I'm pretty sure that there might not be a single time in the whole season where I say Carbonado correctly.
One of many.
Not a single time. And it took me like well after the game ended too. When there were 4 Carbonado and 2 Wilkeson, I was like, oh boy, like I might get out of the first one, but I don't know if I'm going to get out of the second one. Or like if we lose 2 challenges, because I can play it the first time and I don't really care who goes out besides me, as long as I can also make it through the second one to the merge. And so, so that's what I was hoping to be in a position where I would have my idol or have new allies. And so, I got both.
Okay, so it was good. It was good. It ended up being good.
Yeah, ended up being good.
Of course, it ended up being good, but in the moment, was it good?
I was very nervous, and then
was the 30 Rocket theme song playing in your head at this point?
No, not not yet. No, I was much cooler at this point than I was later.
So what was your perception on, let's say Connor, of course. We'll go with just assess me. The whole Carbonado tribe that you're switched with. What was your original perception on them?
So when I first got there, and Erica and I were in one tent, and she talked to me for like an hour. Just kind of, we got to know each other. She kind of told me more about like her son's race car driving, or I think that's what that is.
The spawn of the talk dirty to me, Swisher.
Yeah, exactly. And kind of told me about that for a long time, and told me like why she was there, and kind of like getting back to Erica. And I didn't think that, like when I watched that episode, and Sean and Wes and Stefan are like, they talked for a long time, like you need to get in good with Erica. I don't think that the conversation that Erica and I had necessarily like built any kind of special relationship. And we weren't talking about game at all, but I think it made those three boys kind of or it came across as it made them nervous in the episode. And so then the next morning I wake up and I hear Sean and Connor talking. Well, after this happened. So my perception of Wes was he came up to me kind of early on the next morning and was like, so I think that there are people that know each other here. And so what I would like to do is take out some of those people, and then we will have an opportunity to progress in the game. And he kind of laid out who he thought they were, and I kind of filled in some other blanks. I didn't know any of this going in. And I kind of filled in more blanks based off the dynamics that I saw at Wilkeson. And so that was like a very genuine conversation he had with me. And I was like, I could probably work with Wes. But that morning when I had woken up and Connor was like, I have a plan. I want to take out Wes. And I was like, I have something that will help with that. I had already.
So why so quick to side with Connor and not Wes?
Oh
no. Kaya versus me.
And
is that my internet or is that?
Probably mine.
1 second. Because I know mine was bad during the Connor. Nah, okay, that was yours.
Yeah,
I think you're good now. Mine. Yeah, you're good now. You're fine.
Am I good now?
Yeah, you're good.
Connor had nothing to. I don't know, really. I picked Connor because I kind of got along with him right away. Like, we were just standing there, and after Sean kind of was like, no, like, yeah, we'll think about it, and then he kind of walked away. Connor kind of, like, looked me, like, dead in the eyes and was like, this is something that I want to do. I don't want to work with these people anymore. I want to work with you. And I was like, that sounds perfect. This is exactly what I'm looking for right now. And then I kind of, like, I knew when Wes laid out who might know each other, he kind of set up like Stefan was his first target and then Connor. And that didn't work for me at all, because Connor and I had already had this conversation and had already kind of like decided to work together long term. And so I knew I couldn't work with Wes from then.
So it was meant to be a pair. It was perfect pairing.
Yeah.
So you guys vote out. You have that whole act of voting out Wes. And again, it's the second time where you could have been very well justified to play your idol, but you didn't. And I'm assuming you would have played it if Wes would have stood up.
Yeah, if Wes had stood up, then I would have also played mine. And I'm trying to put myself in the perspective of, I was positive that I wasn't going to go out if the votes were between me and Stefan, which might have been faulty thinking there. But I knew Wes wanted to get rid of Stefan and he didn't want to get rid of me because I was a better ally to him than Stefan would be if we were going forward. And I think Connor wanted to keep me over. So I don't know if that's true, but my perception is that Connor would keep me over Stefan. And that's, I think if Wes and Connor, then maybe Sean also, I don't know. But I was pretty sure that I was going to be staying if the West plan had not happened at all, and if Connor hadn't been, if he hadn't flipped on them, I think, and it had been the tie that we were playing up at Tribal, I think I would have stayed. But I'm not positive. I probably would have played it anyway.
And so you get back from this Tribal, and I know there's a lot of uncertainty there for you because you have so many, your hand is in so many pots at this point.
Yeah.
And number one, completely opposite of what you thought going in, because arguably you're in the best position going into the merge. But what were you wanting to do immediately after you got back from that Tribal Council?
So this is one of something. Well, actually, I feel like I have no regrets in the game because of how it ended for me. But if I were to, if I could have played better, this is what I think I would have done: was not told Stefan about my idol. It ended up not mattering in the grand scheme of things, and I don't think I think I might have walked out of the game with my idol. at the very end, having won, even if I hadn't told, because nobody was coming after me anyway after the merge, pretty much. And so telling Stefan about my idol, I was trying to like really solidify. I got excited after the West thing and just kind of word vomited and wasn't thinking clearly and was like, Stefan, I have this idol. And so little did I know that he was going to run to Stefan or to Sean and Erica and also Connor, who already knew about it. And then my spot was going to be blown up. And I didn't know that was going to happen. And so that's something that if I would have done differently, I think, going back. Maybe.
Merge, though. You get to the merge. I know a lot of people talk about your opinion on the all-women's alliance.
Yeah. So I didn't notice this at the Kitty and Lindsay at the ball shimmy challenge were both trying to mouth something to me, and I had no idea what it was. And they ended up telling me afterwards that they were trying to say like girls alliance. We're doing like a girls thing, and I had no idea that that's what they were saying to me. And then when we got together at the merge, they were like, "Oh, we've got this we're going to do a girls alliance," and that's when I was like, "This isn't going to work for me," because if Lindsay and I were a pair, she now has relationships with Emma. She has relationships with Sarah, two people I've never spoken to in this game, and I can't, like, even though we're in an alliance as women, like, I don't have any connection to them, and I'm not really supposed to be talking. Like, we didn't have the opportunity to get to talk to each other more. So I, like, never fostered a relationship with Emma, really, until her boot. Like, I don't think we really had a conversation until she went out, until right before she went out. And Sarah, I didn't get to talk to really until after Emma goes out. And so that's when I was like, Lindsay is fostering these relationships that I am not. And that's where that's where I started being wary of Lindsay. Where I was like, oh, we come together. Somebody that I thought that I was like pretty equal with has built this thing that I have a very loose connection to and isn't going to work for me long term. And so I was like, I'll ride this out, I guess, until it doesn't serve me anymore. And I thought that it would serve me to get rid of Sean because it would be one fewer people who knew about my idol.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, that's not quite how that worked out. And so I think it was good to get rid of Sean there, even though he blew up my spot, because I was thinking about this when I was watching the season as it came out. The person I think I had the worst read on the whole game was Corey. Like, I had no idea that he wanted me out twice. Like, both like when Sheree went out and then when he went out, that he was targeting me, not like strong, like hard, but would have been okay with me going out. I had no read on him. And so it's really good that he went out when he did, because even though I had no idea what Satu was doing, I feel like I could understand Satu better than I could Corey. And so keeping Satu made sense for me. Looking back on it, even though it was like a hard decision for me at the time, it made a lot more sense to get rid of Corey because I had no idea. And then Sean was a close second behind Corey because I couldn't tell what Sean wanted. He seemed very genuine when he was talking to me, but then he never spoke to me again after the merge. And so I was like, okay, like he can go then, I guess. Like,
he can leave the group.
Yeah. Sean's right, he can leave the group, yes.
Love it. Oh boy. So the Sean vote went negatively. Nobody really did. People really say anything about your idol afterwards? Was there any suspicion? Because still, your name wasn't in practically. I don't think your name was in anybody's mouth. Not considering even Connor didn't consider voting you out in the final three, but like, when you said Corey mentioned it at his tribal council, besides that, nobody targeted you the entire game. But At this point, it had just been revealed that you had the idol, and nobody really, seemingly, as we saw, nobody did anything. Is there truth to that, or were things different?
No, I think that's pretty accurate. I remember coming back to camp after Sean kind of blows that up, and Connor and I were sitting with Sarah, and she was like, I don't think anybody believes Sean, Kaya. Like, don't worry about it. Like, I don't. And I was like, and I didn't want to lie there and be like, oh, good, yeah, because I definitely don't have it, because everybody else assumed I did.
Yeah.
And there were people there who knew that I did. And so I just kind of like neutral responded it and was like, yep. And then like kind of left. And so then well, the reason, okay, this is kind of important for my game, is the reason I went along with the girls thing at all in the beginning is because all the women are kind of sitting in a circle at camp, and probably Satu is also there. And Emma was like, I think we can all agree that the last man should be Connor. And I was like, yep, we can all agree that.
Satu was sitting there?
I think he was, yeah. He might have been sleeping.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I remember her saying that because I was like, yes. Like, as Connor is still in the game, that works out great for me. Then I'll have Connor and me. And I know that Lindsay and Kitty aren't going to like want to ride out the Emma thing all the way to the end. And so hopefully that leaves me a big enough group where I can do something. And so that's the only reason like I didn't put up like a fuss at all when they were like, let's do this all women's thing and get out Sean, because I knew that Connor would be safe later. And that's pretty much what I cared about at that point, because Lindsay and my relationship was a little precarious in my mind because she had built new relationships and I was already viewing her as a threat in the end.
So this is an interesting form of gameplay you're talking about, because you're not controlling where it's going, but you're able to work with what you want to get to ensure that it goes that way. How did that work moving forward? So how did you make sure that all the plans stayed as they were supposed to?
Well, there was a lot of improvising for me, because at this point, before Stefan goes out, but after Sean goes out, or maybe it was at this point, that's when Lindsay and I were talking about, like, we should do a final four of, like, the two of us and Connor and Satu, like, because I think we could both beat both of them. And I thought that this would be a good deal for her because I thought that she could beat me at this point, which I think she probably did. At this point, I think that she thought she could beat me. And so I thought that this would be a good deal for her, and then maybe she wouldn't see that I was also had this Connor thing happening. And I thought this was a good deal. And then Satu and Emma, So way back when, Satu was kind of talking Emma about how like he wants to compete against her and like how he wants to beat her and this whole thing. And then they get together and didn't take the opportunity to take each other out. And that's when I became suspicious of their relationship when they were on New Wilkeson. And then they get to the merge and they're still working together. And so we include, I don't know who included, but somebody includes Satu in our plan to blindside Emma after the merge. And he runs and tells her, we don't see this, but like when we're there, but he runs and tells her that we're doing this thing. And that's when I was like, okay, Satu is out of the picture for me. I can't work with him anymore because I don't know what his deal is. Like I can't figure him out. And so for me, it was better to just like kind of cut ties and kind of write him off as somebody I couldn't work with from then on. Forgot the question.
Yeah.
Improvising.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I couldn't bring him to the Final Four anymore because I knew I couldn't work with him. And so he got kind of written out of my personal plans at that point because of his allegiance to Emma. And so then I was kind of just working on protecting. And then after Stefan goes out, then I'm just working on protecting myself and Connor to the extent I can. Because Lindsay, after we get back from that tribal, Lindsay runs to Emma. And she and Sarah and Emma have this conversation, very intense conversation.
Why didn't you go to Emma immediately after?
So I didn't go to Emma because, one, I didn't have a relationship with her at all at this point. I was just like kind of on the periphery of her.
She did not spell your name. She did not know. I don't think she even knew your name.
Yeah, that's my thought. Is like she didn't write me down for any of like the touchy subjects answers.
Is that a possibility?
I think it might be a possibility.
That she just didn't know your name. And
I hadn't thought about that, but I think she might not have known my name.
And you think about this. I'm planning on writing, once All Stars is done in the next, hopefully 2 years, writing the funny 50th moments from Survivor, like a funny 1 in 5, but doing funny 50th from Survivor Washington. And the fact that nobody this season knew each other's names is perfect. But if it's proven that Emma literally did not know your name and she wrote that down on a piece of paper.
This is an interesting theory because I have the touchy subject sheets and I'm not on hers at all. I'm not a single answer on her sheet. And I think that she might not have known my name enough to like write it on the thing. So you want to ask her?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna call her, and I hope she picks up. It's 11 o'clock in Texas. I'm just gonna ask her. I'm gonna ask her what the winner's name was. Oh. Hello?
Hi, this is Emma Baki.
Oh. See, this is why I'm excited to do monthly Survivor Washington hangouts, because they're going to be filled with they literally will just be filled with stuff like that.
It's very interesting because I knew her last name and how to spell it even.
Who spelled her name? Sorry to we're so Emma based right now. Who wrote down Emma Baki? You did.
Yeah.
Oh, it's because Norwegian?
Yeah.
That makes sense. So you guys had that connection, and
yeah, that's the only time we talked was after the pickled herring, or right before the pickled herring thing, because I knew I was voting her out, but I wanted her to be very comfortable, and so that's like the first conversation we had was like about being Norwegian and like Norwegian things like that, and I wrote Emma Baki.
I find it. So, but you didn't. How did you know her last name when you wrote it down?
Because she said, like at the very beginning, she said that her name was Emma Baki.
And you just remembered that?
Yeah.
You remember that the whole? Wow, that's impressive. Do you remember Sheree's last name?
Snyder. She didn't say it. Oh yeah, she did say it. Yeah, I knew.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she also said that she was your aunt.
She did. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I was like, some people remembered that. I was like, dang, that's impressive. Okay, so. So was that just in your mind then that you're knowing Emma's Norwegian, you could work with that in some way?
Like working, like what? Like working with her?
In terms of social connection, yeah.
Yeah, so that's, I didn't, yeah, so.
I mean, is that why you remembered it, or did you just literally, just remembered it?
No, I just remembered it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, I had that was the only time we spoke was about being Norwegian. Like right before we did the pickled herring thing. So it was a little fun thing.
I have to apologize to Emma now because she's going to think something was really, I was in trouble.
Because you called her.
Yeah, so I have to tell her. Okay, so anyways, back on, let's get off the Emma talk. So Setu, let's go through some question. Somebody asked, how could they let Redhead win?
Rude.
Setu wants to know when the monthly hangouts are happening. They'll happen monthly. No, it'll be just really casual. We'll have anybody that wants to join them can join it. Any alumni can join them, and we'll talk about whatever. I hope to get Hayden and Eric in on some of them. They're always fun. We need to get cross season interaction.
I'm not talking to Eric Jones.
Why?
No.
What are you going to do in All Stars?
Vote him out.
No. Okay, then you're not cast. I'm not casting you. I'm straight up not. If you have a hate, no, I'm just kidding. But
wait, I'm sorry because Hunter, it sounds like you're rigging the season for Eric Jones.
What do you have? Yes, too. It'll exactly be like After Dark, only be more fun because there'll be more fun people. I'm just kidding. Everybody's really fun. There was just no flow. It was just a mess. But wait, what do you have against Eric Jones?
Nothing.
I don't know. I think you have a Tyson thing where once you guys play together, everything will be changed. You'll be like, I love Eric. He's so good.
Okay.
I haven't met a single person. Everybody in Sumner on the Columbia tribe. Nobody this season got anywhere close to the amount of shit talking a contestant got as much as that tribe shit talked Eric. They hated Eric.
You should bring them back. They sound like a good time.
They're terrible. Columbia's the worst. Columbia's the worst. And you know what? I don't even give a shit. Columbia tribe, you are the worst tribe that I will ever have to deal with in Survivor Washington history. I do not hate you all. I love Tyson and Isabel as Survivor contestants.
But that's it.
And Hayden.
Just the two of you. Maybe Hayden.
I love you all as individuals. You are all outstanding people, but as Survivor contestants, you are all horrible. And I've never, ever will want to deal with you guys as a tribe again. And I read every minute, every second you guys shit talking me on camera. I watched, and I hate you all for it. At least the other contestants had the decency to turn the cameras off when they shit talk me. I'm just kidding. Seriously, though, they're all great. They are all lovely.
Yeah, I think we all believe that after like the full 90 seconds of raging you just did on them. I think we believe that you love them.
Yeah, I do. Anyways, so off of Eric and Emma, where are we at? We're at what? Are we on day 3 yet? Anything from day 2 that you wanted to talk about?
No. It was a travesty that Brett and I didn't get to play together.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. I was actually thinking in my head, none of the final 4 have mentioned Brett.
There, that's your Brett mention.
Because
he and I should have gotten to play together.
Brett gets his very deserved mention there. Day 2, how about anything funny, anything cool, anything amazing, outstanding that happened day 2, day 1? Oh my god, it's getting really cold.
No, I went to bed on day 2 like really down because it just like was a really rough last 2 tribal councils, and that was like the lowest I felt in that game. Was like, well, not the as I just felt I didn't feel like sad. I felt kind of sad the first night before we had to vote out Corey, but the second night I was just like, well, I guess I'm going to go home now. Well, I guess I'm going to go sit on the jury with no jury clothes now. Like, this has been great.
I wasn't going to ask. Yeah, Logan and Eric have a distinct rivalry as Eric fights with Logan in every comment section of Survivor Washington Sumner. I was going to say really quick, just a note, the exact opposite of the Columbia tribe is because I know that Eli, if anybody from Sumner is watching these, it's going to be Eli. Rainier is my favorite tribe from Survivor Washington. So,
whoa!
I'm sorry, but
in my interview, how dare you?
Wilkeson is very, very close. Very
Feels
close.
like we're getting a lot of like Emma and then Sumner talk in this.
Yeah. We have plenty of time for Kaya now. We will not talk about anybody else. Day 3. First of all, Emma revealed her idol in front of you? No, not in front of you.
No.
This is in front of Sarah, Lindsay, and Erica.
Yeah.
You and Setu and Connor were in the other tent.
Yes.
You shake your head.
Because I'm just waiting for Setu to jump in the freaking comments of this. I can't.
Made that.
Yeah. So waking up on day 3, I had kind of sussed out this Emma Setu thing. And then Connor, I slept fine that whole night. And then Connor the next morning was like, wake up, we're going to go talk about, because I'm mad. And because then he kind of raged about Satu and Emma lying about their like connection for a while. And then I was like, yeah, no, I'm totally on the same page as you. Like, they're obviously working together, even though they each told their respective tribes that they would not be working together. And then Lindsay showed up and was like, oh no, we've got the numbers, we'll vote her out. And I was like, thank God. And then from that minute forward, day 3, like I was on like a high the rest of the day. It was
There
great.
wasn't a low point?
No.
Not even after Connor voted Lindsay?
No, I was mad at him because here's why I wasn't
30 Rock.
yeah, here's what happened there. Is when he lies to me and says that he's gonna vote out Satu and then votes for Lindsay, I'm mostly upset because I have immunity. So if we go to Rocks or if we don't go to Rocks, like I'm staying. But the people that he is putting in danger are Lindsay and then himself. I think they would not have gone to Rocks, but if they did go to Rocks, then Connor has the opportunity to go out, which is horrible for my game. And so I was so mad that he like even like tried to do that I was furious when we got back and was like trying to think rationally about what my next move would be and just could not. It was just the 30 Rock theme song going through my head. And I was like, oh good, this is perfect. Like this is exactly what I need right now. Just
I want to talk about the psychology. Logan, I apologize. I'm so sorry, Gaia. You will find a better chance of me standing here on camera right now and killing myself with a butter knife violently in my throat than Kristen ever interacting in any way with Survivor Washington ever again. Kaya.
Like a lot of Sumner talk.
Yeah, we just need the first Google hang should just all be Sumner based. Kaya, the 30 Rock theme song. I want to talk about the psychology of this because I'm fascinated by it. It's not a natural. It's not. You're just thinking about 30 Rock, or you're not thinking this is a happy place song, right?
No,
it's just in your head.
Yeah, it was just like when I was trying to work through the next numbers, I could not because my head was just full of the 30 Rock theme song. And I hadn't been like maybe I had been, but not in 2 days. And so it wasn't like a thing. It was just like, that's what was there.
I think occasionally that happens with me, but it's the Fairly Odd Parents song.
Amazing.
Like I think the other day I had some Survivor community drama and I was like raging, but at the same, maybe it was like it was like Yoda's theme from Star Wars, only like really loud, but that's like a really tame.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a weird thing. I feel it though on a weird level. I just hear nobody bring it up. I'm glad to know I'm not alone on that. Anyways, continuing, I just want to know your reaction to seeing the last vote in the Satu vote.
I was pretty shocked. I saw when you said like, because we worked really hard to get Rocks ready. I was like, oh, did we? Not we, but like, did you? Like, interesting. And I was like, I swear to God, in my head, I did not turn to him. I was like, I swear to God, Connor, like, I will murder you. And then the third vote came up for Erica, and I knew that wasn't Connor's vote. So I knew that he had, in fact, like, voted for Lindsay at that point. And so I was pretty mad. But I didn't think that was like the end of our working relationship. I was just like, if you want to tell me that you don't want to work together, you should do that now. Because otherwise, like, I have other options to vote you out. Right. Like at the next tribal.
Quick side question. Who's your favorite contestant from Survivor 35 from Joey Linden?
Lauren Rimmer.
It's the only acceptable answer.
Obviously.
So you're upset with Connor, but you're you eventually choose him over Lindsay in the next round.
Yeah.
Why? Oh, first of all, explain to me the plan.
Okay, here's the plan.
The alternative plan.
Yes,
Also,
obviously.
Igor does not come up when I Google my name.
Came up for me. It was your note about like a coming out as being Igor on Reddit or something.
Okay, I'm sorry. I did not know there's a big fire going on and somebody I know is in danger. We are still continuing this interview. I'm sorry, I just paused there. Please continue.
Oh boy. Are you sure?
Yes. It is okay. It's okay.
We don't have to.
I'm getting updates.
Okay.
It's okay. It is all okay. If anything happens, we will cancel the interview immediately. I will just be less talking and slight. I will just keep my phone open while we sit here, and I will keep listening. Continue. Please continue because it's not gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, hang on. Yeah. No. Side note. We are continuing.
Oh my god.
You got to be kidding me. You cannot text me and say you're going to call and then not pick up. Hello, Emma. You are currently live on the Out of Orting recap show with the Sole Survivor.
Hi.
We just had a question.
Yeah, of course.
What is the name of the winner of Survivor Washington Orting?
Kaya?
Yeah, correct. That is correct. You got it right. We were just wondering, did you know Kaya's name?
Yeah. The whole time, I misspelled it wrong, I think, at one point. But no, I knew her name the whole time.
Okay, there was debate. Oh, somebody in the chat claimed that you didn't, and so we wanted to get you on here to prove that you did.
People in the chat things all the time.
Okay, thank you, Emma.
You're welcome.
There's been too much Emma talk, so I have to hang you up. Your name has come up in discussion too many times, and Kaya feels like it's not centered enough around her.
That is not what I said.
Of course, okay.
Thank you, Emma, for calling in. And do you have anything you want to say to the fans?
Yeah, you're lucky I answered. It's 11:41 here in Texas. So.
Thank you, Emma. I'm so sorry.
Okay, I'm going back to sleep now.
Okay, good night.
Bye.
Oh boy. Okay.
Oh boy.
All right. Yeah. Where are we? We're on Lindsay.
Yes. The plan. Yeah. Okay, so here's what I was thinking at this time when I would like to protect Lindsay and Connor and myself. Erica has immunity, and so ideally for me, Sarah would go out here. Unfortunately, Connor had made it clear to me that he was not willing to vote out Sarah over Lindsay, which was a very smart move. But because I felt like I could count on where Lindsay, for me, I wanted to keep people in the game where I knew where their votes were going. So that's why Situ was dangerous in my mind, is like I have no idea where he's voting, as demonstrated by the Erica vote. And so I wanted to keep people where I knew where their votes are going, so I knew Connor and I could count on where Lindsay's votes were going, because I didn't think they were coming for me until a little further down the road. And so Erica and Sarah were the two people that I could not kind of count on where they were going. So that's why I wanted them out. And so when Erica wins, then I want to do everything I can to get rid of Sarah. Unfortunately, there's very little I can do because Connor is not very willing to work with me here because it's would not be, it's not a smart move to get rid of Sarah over Lindsay. And Lindsay is pushing for Connor, but she would be down to vote out Sarah if we could. And so because I thought I couldn't get Connor to vote with me to vote out Sarah, I only had 2 votes to vote out Sarah. And so that was me and Lindsay. And then I asked Connor to vote for me. I didn't realize at the time, which is stupid, that I was implying that I had the idol, which obviously is what that sounds like, but I didn't know that. And then Erica would vote for Lindsay and Sarah would vote for Connor. And then Sarah comes out of the woods and she has the idol, and I was like, okay, change of plans. This isn't going to work. And apparently she was going to, okay, why was she going to throw a vote for me though?
So she told me that she was going to throw a hinky vote, and she said, oh, my hinky vote would probably be for Kaya. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to be the single greatest moment in the history of Survivor.
Right, but why would she throw a hinky vote there? There are only 5 people voting.
I had no idea. I don't know.
Because that doesn't make any sense. Like, if she throws a hinky vote, then it's a tie. If she thinks I'm voting with Lindsay against Connor.
Okay, at that point, to be fair, though, she had no... It wouldn't matter really who was going home at that point, I think, was her rationale. I know I made it in the edit. I made it in the edit that she was like Team Lindsay all the way, but she was like okay with the result. I can't speak for her and say that, but from what I read in the edit, or what I read in the confessionals, that's what it is.
Okay. Yeah, so that was the plan, and then I saw that she had the idol, and I was like, oh, never mind, gotta make a decision.
What? Did you read the chat?
Yeah.
No, Logan. Emma, hold up the vote one more time for Logan.
No, this is Kitty's vote.
That's Kitty. And Erica was the one with all the flashy stuff around it. Lindsay's was Vegan's rule, and then for vegetarians, rock, whatever it was.
This is Sarah's.
Sarah's, kind of.
And then these 2 are, who cares?
Why did you keep Connor's?
I'm going to frame them.
So I think Xanity Zuzu's asking you out.
Yeah, I see that.
Do you have a response?
I do not have a response.
Would anybody be upset with you not giving a response? Okay. So how emotionally taxing was that vote?
It was not that emotionally taxing for me. I was upset. I was sad to vote her out, but I knew it was the best move for me. So it was kind of like it would have been harder if it wasn't such a good move in my head, like moving forward. And it proved to be very helpful and like a very beneficial move for me. So I was sad, but I wasn't as sad as I would have been if I felt like I could beat her, or if like we also had kind of at this point, I had kind of distanced myself from her because she was building relationships and then kind of keeping me out of the relationships with Emma and Sarah. And so that was like a weird thing that was happening where I was like that's fine that she wants to like make it not look sketchy that I'm talking to these people for the first time ever. But also like I see kind of by doing that, she alienates me from having a relationship with them, making herself an even bigger threat to me.
So you get into the final 4, and seemingly all your ducks were in a row.
Yes.
Was there any doubt at that point?
No.
You were confident you were going to win?
I was confident. I was unnecessarily and like ridiculously confident from as soon as we solidified that Emma was going to go out on the morning of day 3.
Right.
I was like very confident the rest of the day.
So you had just a day's worth of time, basically, in which you went from no confidence to entire confidence.
Yeah.
And so is there anything to talk about? Were you worried about Connor not taking you to the end? I mean, to be fair, in the footage, I had to edit that a lot. There was any question there.
Yeah. I wasn't worried. The only time, so actually the lowest point I had on day 3 was showing up to the final 3 challenge, and I was like, oh no, I have to. I was like, either Connor and I have to. This is the first time it occurred to me, like, that there's 100% chance that I don't go to the end if Erica wins, because I just like hadn't been thinking about that. And then we show up to that challenge, and she had just won 2 in a row, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get third. I'm gonna be third place. And so that's like from the second that my cans dropped to when hers do, I was like preparing myself to be third place in the game. Because I realized like I hadn't really been thinking about that. I just kind of had jumped from 3 to 1 instead of like the middle part, which would have been the trickiest part. Like I would have been third place for sure if Erica had won that. So it really worked out for the best that Connor did pull that out.
And so you get to the final 2. I thought Connor had a pretty solid final 2 performance. Did you think that it was going to sway differently based off of that?
I thought it might be closer. I thought it might be 3-4. I was pretty confident I was going to beat Connor because I really felt like, as I said in the confessional, I was like really confident that I had done the work to be in the finals or to win in the final 2. And I thought, because I had kind of been on the inside where Connor had been like turning to me being like, I'm not very confident in my game. I feel like I have no shot at winning. Everything I do is not going right. And so I was kind of, and I thought he should be more confident, but because of the way his perspective on this, it made me feel more confident that I could beat him. And so I thought it might be closer. I thought maybe he'd get Erica's vote. I didn't know that Erica was going to be so mad. So I thought it might be 3-4 because I didn't know if where Satu was voting.
So interesting. So who did you think was going to be the other vote then if you didn't think Satu was going to?
No, I thought it might be. I was giving him Stefan, Satu, and Erica in my head.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah, because I feel like Emma really didn't have a relationship with Connor at all. And we had a loose one. We really only talked the one time, like on a personal level. But I felt like she would respect my game more than she would respect Connor's. And then I was pretty confident I would have Lindsay. And then I didn't know I was going to have Sarah until Connor was like, when I voted out Erica, Sarah like had this huge grin on her face, like when we were walking out. And I was like, oh, that's weird. Like, because one of the questions that Sarah's question, do you remember what her question was?
It was like, it was something like, I remember what it was. I remember the subject. I don't want to say, it was like, why did you?
Because I thought it
was a why did you vote me out type question.
Yeah, I thought it was like how much of like our relationship was real.
Oh, right. Yes.
And at the time, like I thought she like thought we had a real relationship, which at the time I was like really taken aback because I didn't think we had any working relationship, really, because we had voted separate ways a bunch of times, and like she had always been like, her and Erica were the people starting at 5 were the people that I like were disposable to me, not like just in the game, not because I didn't like them, but just like in the game, I kind of wrote them off as people that I didn't need. And so I was like kind of really surprised. I was like, oh, I had no intention of working with you. And it turns out that that's the answer she was looking for. She thought that I had played her, and she wasn't like upset about it, which is what I thought at the time. But we talked afterwards. She was like, no. Like, that's what I was looking for, was that you had played me. I was like, oops.
Let me ask you this. If there was one person besides you that you think is most deserving to win the game, who would it be?
From the...
You say Emma?
No, okay, well, I would like to say, like, okay, I think Connor would be a very good winner. I thought that if I couldn't win, I would like to see Connor win, because looking back on his game, and even when I was in the game, looking at his game was very, like, he did a lot of work that was shown on the show, but people weren't appreciating when it was happening. But like the obvious answer is Lindsay, because of all of the social relationships she had, and like her command of the game up until she goes out, basically. But I think the real answer for me, I would like to have seen Brett win.
Really?
Yeah.
For fun?
Yes.
That's a good one. I think I would have, if we're picking, I'm going to answer this one too, because
besides me, though, obviously, since I'm your number one pick.
Right, yeah, of course. Well, I had a guy that dropped out pegged as a winner back when we were going to have a 3-tribe, 18-person season. There's that. When those votes came out and you were named sole survivor, how did it feel?
It felt really, really good. It felt way better than it probably should have felt for it being like a 3-day game. But I was immediately into the game as soon as we started. Like, it wasn't even like a conscious, like, you're scheming, you're playing the game. It's just like, that's what my life felt like. Even like right away. And so I felt like I was in it from the very beginning, and I didn't really miss, like, I really I had a great time the whole time. And so, it really felt like I had won, like, Survivor at that point. Like, that moment, that's really what it felt like. And Lindsay and I are similar in this, where she was like, I've been preparing for this for 17 years. I was like, oh, girl, me too. When she was like, I used to sit in my backyard, like, eating rice out of a coconut. I was like, I used to hang on my monkey bars when I was like 8, just like pretending to do a Survivor challenge against like Penny from Survivor Thailand. Like, I have memories of this.
out of all the contestants you can compete with, to be Penny from Thailand.
That's who it was in my head.
Okay.
I have like clear memories of this.
And so coming in, you know, you think you're going to lose. You think there's just no chance. You think did that change anything about you at all, and how did it change your confidence level in yourself?
No, not really. Because I still think that I would be, like, if you were asking about other live games, and I'm pretty confident. I just feel like I really need to work on making first impressions, because it's fine if people don't like me after they get to know me. A lot of people don't, but I would like it to be after they have something to base that off of, rather than just like me being shy or quiet when I first meet people.
Fair enough. Sorry. The overall experience of Survivor Washington, I know you've touched on it, but just give me a summary of the game, and would you encourage people that are questioning it to do it?
Oh, 100%. I would say that everybody should do it. It was so much fun, but like, don't upstage season 2, because, oh, guys, it was the best. But everybody should do it, especially women should apply for this, because I feel like men get their voices aired a lot in the Survivor community, and I feel like it's a good opportunity for women to have an opportunity to like have a presence in a community that is like male dominated, even if that, as silly as that sounds.
And hey, the success rate of women in Survivor Washington is 2 for 2.
Yeah.
And what I think the merge, it's like 12 women have made the merge and 8 men have made the merge in Survivor Washington. So women, there's nothing. I'd say that in terms of, I know when I recruit, the biggest issue I have with women doing it is them thinking, I'm not going to do well, I'll be embarrassing, I'll embarrass myself going out there.
Yeah.
I honestly think that women do significantly better on this than men. I think it's just natural. It's a natural thing. You know, watching you guys play and watching how things turn out, it definitely depends on the cast, but I'd say that really, literally anybody, any person can win this game. There's nothing stopping anyone from winning Survivor. I literally mean that. I mean, I'm not saying that as a cliche or as an exaggerate. It's hyperbole. I mean, literally anybody can beat anybody in Survivor. That's just how it works, and that's what's awesome about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Kaya, the second sole survivor of Survivor Washington, you're
Orting.
Orting, yeah, with a
Orting.
D. With a D.
The hard T.
You will hold the crown for well, I guess about over a year, because we're planning on airing season 3 in the winter of next year. So you've got a while. You've got a while to have your throne.
Good.
But to all the people interested, again, this summer, season 3 and maybe more.
Maybe more.
We will see. In the meantime, that's it. I mean, we finished it. This is over. This is my last interview. Excuse me. No, it's not. There's another.
You're gonna get Sheree?
Oh yeah, I need to get Sheree still. I will be interviewing. I'm going to try to get my mom and I to sit down and just discuss the workings of this, because, oh my God, there's a lot that went into this. But, hey, I don't want to say we'll see you next winter. We will see you hopefully monthly. We'll be releasing updates, secret footage. Hopefully Kaya will be stepping in our Google Hangouts.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Until then, and Kaya, do you have any last words?
No, it was a really, really, really good experience. I'm very happy that I did it. Thank you, Hunter, for everything.
Thank you for showing up and doing it and proving me wrong. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for sticking with us over the last few months of Survivor Washington. It's been a hell of a trip. Oh my God, it's been a hell of a journey. I honestly cannot wait to get working on season 3. Casting notifications will start going out at the end of this month.
Connor and I are going to host the recap for you for season 3 in the winter when the episodes come out.
Oh, you have competition with 2 other contestants on your season.
Nope.
So you guys
coming for them.
It's not good to have competition within your own production.
Oh, did the other people place first and second, or?
That's a good point. They placed
Sith and
fifth out. I was pitched an idea. Nothing is set in stone yet.
But I think first and second's more impressive.
I don't think the 5th person out has even been notified yet. But I'm still not opposed to the idea of having Hayden and Eric host the recaps.
I'm opposed to that.
All right. Well, we will see. We've got a long time for that. Thank you, everybody, for sticking with us. It's been an awesome journey. It's been an awesome trip. Stick with us, please. You guys are our fans. You guys breathe life into our community, so we will be seeing you in the next few months. If not, if you're, gotta be a dick and just watch the episodes of the recap shows, we will see you next winter for Survivor Washington Season 3. Thank you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful Survivor Washington list next few months.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Bye.